Hey guys, how's it going? So we're back with another video, and today I've got something pretty cool. So I was on Facebook Marketplace, as I like to do, to check and see if I can find any deals on guitars, and I found something pretty cool, and here it is. This is the Epiphone SG Special Gothic Limited Edition. It's pretty much your run-of-the-mill Epiphone SG Special from the early to late 2000s. That were pretty much everywhere, but this was a special edition. This was the Goth edition. You can see there, it's got the fancy headstock where it says SG Goth Limited. It's got that pretty cool logo up there on the headstock. You've got the clipped ears, of course, because it is an Epiphone from back then. They didn't have the Kalamazoo headstocks back then. You do have a matte body, and you've got two humbuckers, 700T, I think it's 690R. Those are the two humbuckers, and they still use those. I think those are the ones that are in the specials today, and those are the ones that are in the studio LTs. And then you've got a black bridge, a black tailpiece. You've got two speed knobs. Got your normal input jack here, and then you've got your three-way switch, which I will say feels pretty good. It is missing its cap though on the top here, the tip. It was kind of shredded, and I brought it home and was messing around with it in my living room, and my daughter took it and ran off with it, so hopefully she didn't eat it, but yeah, I don't know what happened to it. It fell off. So yeah, that's what this guitar is. Let's put it up on the bench and look at it a little bit closer, and then we'll plug it in and see how it sounds. Alrighty, let's get down to business here. So, these things look like dirty fingers. I know they're not. I just have to say that right off the bat. Open coils on a SG, and they're kind of older, so they look a little bit, you know, I don't know. I think they look cool. Anyway, they sound good. I know this because the Les Paul 100 had these pickups, and if this is anything like the Les Paul 100, I'm sure they will sound great. Here's those speed knobs. Here's the three-way switch that is missing its cap. It's actually on its way from Amazon, but I didn't want to wait to do this video until that came. It wasn't necessary. You can kind of see rhythm treble there. You can't see it with under this LED light, but now you can see it. Here's your jack. One thing I want to say real quick, you can see, so I'm not a guy who's going to polish his guitar to show it to you, because is your guitar ever going to look like this while you're playing it? Probably not. I wanted to show it to you after handling it and stuff for another reason, and that is that this black matte, while it looks really cool from a distance, when you get up close to it, holy cow, it shows everything. I use white picks, and you can see where pieces of the pick have scraped off. I polished this, right? You can see where pieces of the pick have scraped off and gone down in there. That's not all dust. That's actually from my picks. There is one scratch on this pick guard, which is a funny little pick guard. I don't know what it's protecting. The body, I guess. It looks better than not having it, I guess. If we look at the fingerboard, this is a 12-inch radius. It is a bolt-on neck. The neck, though, is also matte. And it feels very nice. Very, very, very nice. I much prefer this to a glossy neck. It has the same feel and the same color as the body. You've got your dot inlays here, as you would expect. If we go up to the headstock here, there's a close-up of that logo. There's your Epiphone. There's your Goth SG Limited. There's your plastic nut, which honestly does not matter. As long as it's cut correctly, it could be made of toilet seat, and it would probably be fine. All right, let's go ahead and flip this over. The back looks a lot better than the front because this is up against me, not my hands and stuff. There's still some fingerprints on it, though, from me handling it. Here's that neck. Oh, it's so nice. It is so nice. More guitar necks need to be finished like this. This is great. Up here, you can see these have the dreaded trapezoid tuners. But actually, they're not that bad. I've owned several guitars with these trapezoid tuners, and they're really not bad. Any tuning issues I've ever had with a guitar with these tuners were not because of the tuners. It was usually because the nut was cut wrong, the strings weren't stretched properly, or it was a guitar with a tremolo that wasn't set correctly. So here's your neck plate on the back. That doesn't say anything. It's just plain. It has the little peg for your strap right there. And then, of course, the other one's down here on the bottom. I've not opened this yet, and I don't think anyone has. And I want to make a quick note on this. This is probably not applicable to you. Somehow, some way, this SG is in absolutely perfect condition. This specific one. There's not even a crack in the neck pocket. What does that tell you? Pretty rare that you see a used bolt-on neck guitar with no crack in that neck pocket. It is in perfect condition, other than the one scratch that I found on the pick guard and all these smudges that I did. Then there's a little bit of an uh-oh right there and a few scratches up here. But other than that, it is in perfection condition. Still even got the plastic on this thing on the back. So anyway, let's go ahead and take this off. I'm curious to see what pots they have. I'm going to guess they're little dime-sized pots with an import jack. But we're about to find out. Let me get my screwdriver. I got the screws off and I have not seen this yet. So I'm going to pull this off. Looks like little tiny little baby pots. This pot is weird. What the hell is this? Somebody who knows what they're talking about, tell me. I have no idea what this is. It's not a push-pull. I'm going to get down close to it and look at it. It's not a push-pull. What is this thing? Is it like a cap or something? Right here? Little black plastic thing underneath the bottom of the pot. I have no idea what that is. Then over here you've got a tiny little baby pot. A pretty nice switch here. This doesn't look like an import switch. It looks pretty good. And uh-oh, we got a loose jack. Let's fix that while we're in here. There we go. That's in there pretty tight now. Get that out of the way. There we go. Let me know in the comments if you know what this is. I have no idea. I've never seen that before. Maybe I'm a noob. I've worked on a lot of guitars on this channel, and I have never in my life seen that. There is a cap sticking out here in the bottom, this green one, but there's this black thing on top here. I have no idea what that is. So anyway, let's go ahead and put the back cover back on, and let's plug it in and see how it sounds. Okay, so here we go. I've got it on a clean setting right now. So let's throw it up on the neck. See how it does. I'm going to turn the volume down to like 5. It doesn't clean up very well, I'll tell you that. Let's turn it up all the way. Let's put it on the bridge. Same deal, I'm going to turn the volume down to about 5. Up all the way. It dirts up real good, don't it? Let's put it on heavy overdrive. We will start with the bridge. I want to know what this pot does. Hey, it presses. Wait a minute. It's a kill pot. These pickups are amazing. Let's go to the bridge. I think that sounds pretty cool. I like it. Awesome. So there you go. What do I think about this Epiphone SG Special Goth Edition? I have to say, it really surprised me. I've owned the Epiphone SG Standard, the inspired by Gibson version, and I own a Gibson SG Special from 1987. So, you know, that's the other SG that I have, is that Gibson 87. So when I picked this up, I was like, oh, it's probably going to suck. It's a special. It's the very cheapest SG that money could buy back then. The only difference is that this has a nicer paint job, and it looks cooler. The insides are all the same. So I expected it to suck, but it does not suck. Honestly, I'm completely and utterly blown away by how good this guitar is. Is it as good as a Gibson? No. It doesn't really feel like a Gibson. It feels kind of cheap. I don't really know how to explain it. But that doesn't really matter. You know, how it feels does matter. Obviously, you shouldn't compare this to a Gibson. Okay? That shouldn't be done at all. But I'm only saying that because I have one and wanted to tell you after, you know, playing a Gibson and it being my main guitar right now, really, and then picking this up, how do I feel? It feels a little cheap. It doesn't really feel like a toy. It just feels a little cheap, but it plays really good. I mean, I got the action set at a really nice spot. I was able to get the neck just where I wanted it. I think the pickups sound absolutely amazing for what they are, but I already knew that. The Les Paul 100 had those pickups in it, and I loved those pickups in that guitar, so I knew I would like them here. That's one thing that Epiphone has pretty much always done right, is the pickups, and they did it right on this one too. You can usually find these guitars pretty cheap, usually around $100 if you're lucky for a non-Goth version. Goth version usually is going to run you around $200. Is it worth the extra $100 to get the Goth version? Only if it really matters to you. Like, if you look at this and you're like, oh man, that looks so cool, that looks like me, and I gotta have that, and it's worth $100 to you, go for it. I think it's really cool. I would not hesitate to gig this. I would not hesitate to set this up on stage next to my Gibson. I wouldn't be ashamed of it. I think it looks really cool. As far as the regular special goes, you really can't go wrong with it. In a previous video, I said, stay away from the Epiphone specials because they're not very good. And I stand corrected. I have to admit, I stand corrected. If they are all like this one, then they're a fantastic deal. As I say a lot on this channel, though, I would not buy a brand new one for several reasons. Number one, it's going to cost a lot more. It's like buying a new car, right? A brand new car off the lot. Sure, it has 0 miles on it, and you know every mile that goes on that car, and it's brand new, but you're paying a huge premium for it being brand new. If you're talking about a really nice guitar or a really nice car, that might make a little bit more sense because it's a huge investment and maybe it's a heritage item, an heirloom that you're going to pass down or something. So that makes a little more sense. But when we're talking about these cheaper instruments, I don't see any reason not to buy them pre-owned. You're going to be able to get this for probably $100 or less if you get the non-Goth version, and I don't think they make the Goth version anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong. But even if they do, you'll save about $100 by buying it used. So there you go. I think this is a great guitar. If you don't own an SG style, you can't really go wrong with the Special. I would recommend that you play it first, though, instead of just ordering one blind. But as long as you order from a place that you can return it, like Guitar Center, for example, it shouldn't be an issue. If it sucks when you get it out of the box, return it and try to find another one. So, do I recommend it? Absolutely I do. I think they're great guitars, fantastic value, and it's something everybody should own. Everybody should have an SG. They're fun. Alright, thank you very much for watching. I very much appreciate all of you. Please like and subscribe. Please join the Discord if you want to talk about guitar gear, etc. We talk in there all the time about all kinds of stuff, and I would really love it if you would join that so that we can talk. Thanks again. Appreciate it. See you next time, and keep on rocking.